know lots of you are using ChatGPT for your research, for your assignments, etc. There are certain other AI tools that are way beyond ChatGPT and are amazing and are also supported by renowned organizations. So today in this video, I will be explaining those AI tools, like how to use it, why to use it, and also who can use it. This video will be focusing on those students or researchers who are working on their papers or working on their assignments and have to read loads of papers. So I hope this video will be helpful, and please don't mind my crappy background and also the light because I'm shooting on natural light, and hopefully this will be fixed within few videos, inshallah. Let's start. Okay, so the first one will be for those who has to read loads of paper. For instance, I had to read papers like this when I was doing my thesis, my project, and like there are certain other papers I had to read, like loads of them. When you read papers, you don't have to read the whole paper. You just have to find out whether this paper is going to support your paper or not. That's the first thing you have to find out. And to find that thing out, you have to read this whole thing. That's insane. So like there are certain softwares that will help you to decide whether you want it or not, whether you need this paper or not, and ChatGPT, well, is one of them. But there is a certain specific software, and that is the SciSpace. Let me show you. It's this one. So the SciSpace, if you go and type out just SciSpace, and you can find it out. So this is the platform, or this is the first page you'll drop into, and here you can see best for researchers and if you are a student. Well, even if you are not a researcher, even if you are a student, you can still for literature review and you can find topics. Now, how you can use it? So basically, if you have your file downloaded on your computer, you can upload it on the software or the platform. Let's say for now, you can upload a PDF over here and then you can read it out. So let's say I have a paper over here. Let me just turn it on. So this is the platform, this is the page you will find when you open your file, okay? So this is something you will find in My Library or home, wherever you go. So there are certain other options. There is chat with PDF, literature review. I will go through it, don't worry. So this is when you have a paper downloaded on your computer and you want to upload and read it. Let's say this is a paper. There's a certain part or a certain section you are not understanding, okay? So let's say the molecular mechanisms of thrombopoiesis. You are not understanding this thing, okay? So let's say I will ask any question like, can you summarize the molecular mechanisms of thrombopoiesis, okay? And it will give me, okay? So one more thing is that the Copilot thing, as I'm using it free, it has limitations and you cannot cross a certain search in a day. But if you go for high quality, then you can search for these questions again and again and again. But if you're using the free version, then there is restriction that you cannot search for more than 10 questions in a day, let's say. Here comes the summary of the molecular mechanism. So basically what it did was like, you don't have to read this whole section. You are choosing that whether this paper is for you or not. Or even if you ask, can you make a summary? Can you make a summary for this whole paper? It will give you a summary of this whole paper. And even if you click over here, you will find other like suggestions. So let's say results of the paper. I want to read the results of the paper. And if you click on it, it will create the results of the paper. And then you can decide whether this paper is for me or not, whether I can use this paper or not. And the next thing, this is when you will upload the file on the platform. And the next thing is, if I go over here, that's the Chrome extension. You can add your Chrome extension over here. And even if you don't know what Chrome extensions or how it works, you can see my other video where I have talked about like 5 or 10 Chrome extensions. So you can watch it. And in the Chrome extension, you can go and search for SciSpace, like this one, the SciSpace, and then it will be added over here. And let's say it's over here, okay? Let me just, when I'm on this page or on this paper, let me click over here and it will come over. So let's say, so basically what you are doing right now is that you are not downloading this specific paper. You are not downloading it on a computer and then uploading it on SciSpace. You are basically just reading it from the web page. And I have, let's say I have searched for what is the purpose of this web page, okay? And you will literally get the purpose of this web page. And then you can read out and you can understand whether this paper you should follow or not. Let's say I'm not understanding a specific sentence, okay, from this paper. All right, let's say I'm not understanding table 2 shows, okay? So let me just copy. Over here, there comes a pop-up which says ask. And you can ask for to summarize, to explain, to paraphrase. So you can basically ask for explain and it will pop up over here. So it will explain the text which you are not understanding. This specific thing is what I love about SciSpace, because when I was reading loads of papers, there were certain sentences I was not understanding, because these papers are written by high professionals, it's peer reviewed. Obviously it's not written by us who are like finishing it in 1 or 2 words or something. So it's quite difficult to understand these sentences. That's where SciSpace can come. I know ChatGPT can help you too, but why not use something which is much better than ChatGPT and which can take hold of the whole paper and then make you understand that specific sentence, what it means in the paper or what it means in the table 2 of that paper. So when you go to ChatGPT with this thing, you have to upload the table, you have to upload the paper, you have to tell him to read the paper and see table 2 and then explain it to me. So in that case, SciSpace is much easier to use. Now let's jump into the next software, which is be working as your search assistant, to be honest. Right, so the next one would be Research Rabbit. Well, it is somewhere near to Google, because when you search for specific papers, you can find loads of other papers related to that one. It's much more condensed than Google, but it will show you the papers that you specifically want to find. Okay, let me just show it to you. So log in, because I already have my file over here. This is what my interface currently looks like, because I have used it in my 3rd year. Over here, you can also see connect to Zotero. So Zotero is something else, which I will tell you later on. Let's say I'm going for my research project. Over here, you can see papers which I have read. Let's say I liked this paper, and this is related to my project. When you come over here, you can see there are certain options coming over here. Let's say similar work, all references, all citations, and the authors. Then you can explore like authors who have written this paper and are included in this paper. Let's say I want to find similar work related to this paper. Well, it's same as Google, but in Google you have like specific pages. This will condense and will help you to find out all the other papers that are related to this specific topic. Let's say I'm searching for similar work. Let's find out the advantages of it. It's showing the similar work of this paper. It means you don't have to read on Google page after page after page. You can just literally use this software to find that specific paper and the similar work of that paper you want to find. And also you can find out timeline. So let's say you want to read the papers from the recent work, okay? So let's say if you click on timeline, it will show you the recent one is from 2020 and the last one related to this paper is from 1970. So like we had a restriction or like kind of a condition that we cannot use paper which is like 10 or 15 years older. It has to be at least from last 7 to 8 years, let's say max. Let's say one I can find from 2020, another is from 2018, which is the same one. The 2018 one is also related to other one which is from 2016. So basically you can see it from here, like which paper you can follow. So this is how Research Rabbit works. I would highly recommend this to everyone out there has to read lots of papers and doing their assignments and has to do obviously find out lots of references. I have lots of friends who used to save their references later on, and it was so disturbing that you can't even find the reference. Can you believe like how many, let's say 50 to 60 of references I had to put in my project, and like some of my friends had to put more than that. Can you imagine losing those references while you are about to submit your project? So you have to find a way where you can save your references, and Zotero is one of them. So till now you have seen Zotero connected to SciSpace, you can connect it to Research Rabbit. Let me show you what Zotero actually is right now. So Zotero, there is one more similar software to Zotero, and Zotero kind of looks like a bit outdated because the interface kind of looks like a bit simple, but it's super helpful. So yeah, you can use Zotero, and the other software like similar to Zotero, I will show it to you. So this is how the interface looks like. I know it looks like those computers we used to have back in our childhood. And let's say I have my case study. Let's say I have something over here. So all these papers I have saved. And how did I save it? Now let's say I have this paper over here. Okay, so I'm like, oh, okay, this paper is super helpful for my project. So let me just copy the link. Okay, I want to save this. I don't want to lose it, and I don't want to keep my Chrome open with all of those tabs. Then I will go over here and I will choose journal article. It will say a title. So let's say I have typed the title, canine mesenchymal stem cells. Okay, and also over here I can put the link. Okay, you can put the DOI number, you can put the ISSN number, you can put the URL. So over here I'll put the URL. That's it, it has been saved. Now whenever I go over here, let's say my case study, I'm doing my case study of one of my assignments, and I'll be like, okay, let me see what papers I have saved for my case study to read. Oh, I have saved this one, metabolic syndrome. Copy this link, and let me just paste it over here, and I can read it. So this was the paper I was reading for my case study. So there is no fear of you losing the paper. So that's what Zotero will do. And when you read lots of paper, you have to save the references, and you can't save all the reference because you will be not using all the papers. So you have to understand which papers you have to use, and you can choose them and you can save them over here. So the other one, quite related to Zotero, but it's quite fancy, it will be the next one. Okay, so the next one I have told you about, a bit fancier version of Zotero, and unfortunately for some reason I couldn't find my previous account where I already had loads of papers saved. Let me just show you how it works. Okay, so this is the interface that you will get when you log in or sign in. So let's say I have 5037, a course of mine, and the case study 1. So I will be saving all the papers I'll be reading about that case study. So let's say that case study is about the same thing, my project. Okay, so I will copy this link. I can go to Raindrop.io and add it over here. So let's say I will add thing over here, and boom, the paper will come over here. And whenever you want to read this paper, you can just come over here and you can click on that I thing, and you can read the papers simply from this platform. You don't have to go back and forth from Google Chrome and thingies. You can just read it from over here. Or even if you want to go to other thing, you can just click on that share kind of button over here, and it will just pop up on your whatever browser you're using. It's like Zotero, but it's a bit fancier, and if you want to use it, this one, it's good. And one more thing is that the Google Chrome extension of this one. Yeah, this one. So I haven't pinned it. So this is the Google Chrome extension of Raindrop AI. You can just simply search for it on Manage Extensions, and you click over here. It's asking for sign in. You can, let's say I'm signing in. I have signed in. All right, so let me click on this one. So what it's doing right now is that, let's say you are reading a paper on your web page, and you will be like, I want to save this to my Raindrop.io collection. So simply just finish the extension, click on the extension, and you want to put a note that case study 1. Okay, so you want to save it in this collection or another collection if you want to, and this is the URL, and it's saved. So basically when you go back to your thingy, main software, you will find it over here. So like it's easy, because let's say you are reading this paper and you'll be like, let me save this, and you will just simply click on this extension and save it. The next software that we are going to discuss will be about creating graphics for your project. Softwares that you can use for graphics. The first one is BioRender. This is like, you can create scientific illustration on this one, and you can just sign in. You can even pay for it if you want to, because when you pay for it, there are like loads of cool templates. So there will be no copyright pictures or something. You can just create it on your own. So that's what BioRender will do. This is what the platform of BioRender looks like when you sign up for a free account. So you can find the templates, you can find graphs and everything, or you can even create your own one, so that when you create over here, you can just copy and paste, or you can upload it to your project, or even you can get the PowerPoint of it. So you know how our lecturers have these fancy graphics or illustrations on their PowerPoint slides. Some of them can create on their own icons. Let's say I want to get an icon of antibody. So let's say search for antibody, and here it is. So you can use like the better ones. So let's say it's antibody over here. Then I want to use an arrow to show which part of the antibody shows what thing. Okay, so you can find for the lines over here, you can find for the arrows over here. Let's say I want to use this arrow, and when I put it over here, that's how it looks. Then you can put a text box over here. Let's say I'm going for a text box. Okay, so I want antibody. Okay, so like you can create your own things. So that's what BioRender do, and you don't have to draw your own antibody and then put it on the project. You don't have to do all those things. It will simply do this for you. All right, the next one is all of our favorite, which is Canva. Canva is something which I usually use for my YouTube, for my like Instagram and other social media platforms, but also you can use it for your projects. And even if you want to make things like your illustrations on something, which you can simply do with BioRender, but you can do it for Canva too. So it's like a second option. So many of us know about Canva, and some of us don't. It's okay. There were lots of my friends who didn't know how to use Canva, and it's okay. Like it's pretty simple to use. You just have to play with the things you get. Let's say over here you want a whiteboard, let's say. So you can simply search for whiteboard, and then you can go to the whiteboard, and you can simply whatever you want. Okay, so like let's say I want to find similar thing. Let's say I want to find for an antibody, and over here you can see it's the pro version of it. Like that's simply an issue that it's the pro version, but I have found this one, and it's simply it's same as BioRender. Let's say I'm searching for an arrow, and I found this one. Then you can simply put a text box over here. It's up to you. Over here. So that's how then you can just make a screenshot, or even you can save it however you want as a JPG or a PDF format, and then you can simply upload it to your project file. Kind of similar, but BioRender is mostly scientific and Canva is like generalized version of like illustration. So it's up to you whichever you want to use. So we are quite at the end of the video, and I have to finish as soon as possible because the sun is going down. Okay, the one that we use for grammar and plagiarism, quite few of them. Grammarly, Turnitin, and some of them, let's say Turnitin, you have even heard while you were doing your classes in your university, because Turnitin is something that is used by university lecturers to check our plagiarisms, and you have to pay for it obviously as a student. When in university, then you will be getting free drafts of it so that you can just check your writings before you finally submit for it. So that's what we have during our classes. And the next one you could use is for Grammarly. Yes, you can get free version of Grammarly or even the paid one. The paid one is pretty good because it will help you to paraphrase, it will help you with their own suggestions, and it will help you with the tones of it. Let's say, do you want to sound academic, or do you want to sound formal, or do you want to sound like you're writing a letter? So that's how the premium version works, and I have used the premium version. It's pretty good, so you can go for the premium version if you want to. And the other one which I want to mention is about Quillbot. Most of us have used Quillbot because they are good at paraphrasing, and they are also pretty good at using like synonyms of several words, or like sentences, like rewording your sentences again to make it sound a bit academic or something. The last one I want to mention, which is pretty important, is MyBib. So MyBib is something which I have been using. It's my second year. So this has the Chrome extension. So you can use the Chrome extension too. Let's say this is my first project, and I want to save this as my project references. Okay. So MyBib is also quite similar to Zotero and Raindrop IO, but this will specifically help you to create citations. Your university, your class will tell you which kind of citation they want. So our was the recent one, which was APA 7, I believe. Your citation will come based on the option you choose. Okay, so I have chose APA 7. Now let's say I'm putting the URL that I have copied from there, this one. So it's a journal, right? So I will search for it and it will create this citation, and you can just save it. And you can also create manual citations if you want to. And which one is the main citation that you can put the end of your references, which is the bibliograph one. And this is the in-text one that we put in between the sentences. This is pretty helpful because I can rely on MyBib. It doesn't make any mistakes as far as I have seen, because my references were absolutely fine. That's why I can rely on MyBib. We are at the end of this video, and I hope you have found it helpful. And I hope you will use those softwares, which are extremely crucial for your assignments, for your research. So it will help you to maintain a document where you can find simply everything in an organized manner. So please don't forget to use the softwares. And if you have any questions, if you have any reviews after using the softwares, you can just let me know in the comment below. And yes, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. We will see you in the next video with the proper background, hopefully, inshallah, and with the proper light. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.